What if there was a podcast where one NFL legend talked about football? What about two NFL legends, huh? What about three? This is Wideout's World, where the gridiron comes alive. NFL legends Fred Barnett, Irving Fryar, and Michael Timpson. Three NFL legends breaking down the game from the ultimate insider perspective. Game recaps, upcoming previews, and exclusive analysis straight from the minds of those who've been in the trenches. Wideout's World. Let's do it.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
You ready for some football? Ready for some football, baby. What's going on, everybody? This is Wideout's World. We're here again on a Wednesday night, 7 p.m., 7 to 8, hopefully, according to Mr. Timpson. These are my co-hosts, Fred Barnett and Michael Timpson up there to my left or to my right.
Mike got somewhere to go.
Mike got somewhere to go. You got a hot date tonight? You got
Places
a hot date,
to go,
Mike?
people to see.
Places to go, people
my
to
wife,
see.
hot date. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, those of you who are watching right now, it says 8 of you are watching right now. That's pretty cool. Please don't forget to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your church folk to go to Wideout's World on YouTube and subscribe. Yeah, we need as many subscribers as possible. The Bunker is in the house. What's going on, The Bunker?
The Bunker.
Yeah, B-U-N-K-E-R. The Bunker. He's new. Don't remember him being on before. But we got a bunch of people. Y'all acknowledge yourselves. Say who you are. Say hi in the chat. We're going to get this.
Shout you out.
Yeah, we shout you out. We get this train on the tracks and get moving because we have a lot to accomplish tonight or a lot to go over. We've changed the itinerary, I should say, of the order of the show. We got we're going to talk about our favorite wide receiver of the week this week. Wide receiver, just one, and we got the surprise of the week, and then we're going to give you some top news, just something that's going down, some little funky that's going down in the NFL this week. Then we have the game of the week. Yeah, we're going to talk about the game of the week, and then we're going to do our predictions with Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night football. Dawn Winrow is in the house. Good to see you, Dawn. Russell Gold is in the house. Stu Winrow is in the house. My mom says, "Hey, wow." Hey, Mom.
Hey, wow.
Hey, she said, "Hey, wow."
Hey, wow.
Hey, Mom.
Hey,
Mom's
Mom.
always on point. So,
Hey, wow.
so let's get started, fellas. I know you don't want to, dilly-dally too much about any, just side chatter.
Mike,
So let's get
Mike
into
got
our
to go.
subjects tonight. Let's get into our points. Mike, we're talking about our favorite, not five, but our favorite wide receiver of the week in the NFL. You want to go first?
Yes. I'll be happy to go first.
I'll be John Brown.
Now,
I'll be John Brown.
I bet we don't agree with
you
it.
kind of set. Wait a minute. You kind of set the precedent a while back, Irv, and you're going to love this thing. So my wide receiver of the week is, drum roll, George Kittle, tight end. Now,
Oh, Lord Jesus. Now, you can't do
keep your
that.
shirt on.
How you going to do
We've
that?
done it. You can't change the script now. You've done it. So listen.
I got to do some wop
You
or
learn
something,
something.
man.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to do something.
George
else.
Kittle. It was National Tight End Day. Now, this past week, I have never, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me, I saw tight ends all over the place. They were, and statistically, you're saying wide out of the week. Right now, for this week, he's a wide out. They had those
You're going
tight
to change
ends-
it up because you want to change it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, he went.
No, but it's my segment. So listen,
It's a segment.
hey, the tight ends caught 177
They did.
passes
Yeah.
on one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If that don't deserve a shout out, I don't know what does.
Well, there
170
You talking about George?
There weren't a whole lot of wide receivers that caught touchdown passes this weekend.
That's true as
That's
well.
true.
Yeah.
That's true as well. 14
That's
different
true.
tight ends found the end zone. 14 different tight ends. So when you talk about national tight end, George Kittle, he finished San Francisco win, 6 catches for 128 yards and 1 touchdown. But let me give you a few other names that now you may know. Trey McBride from Arizona, 9 catches for 124 yards. Kyle Pitts from Atlanta. He had a great game.
Well, I
4
thought you were going
catches,
to do
91.
one.
Wait a minute. Oh, my bad. I was in old mode. I was in old mode. My bad. I'll take the walk. My bad. I kept going. I wrote them down. I kept going. My bad.
You're supposed to do one.
I only got one.
Hey, Fred, he the main one talking about we got to keep it moving tonight. We don't want to be too long. We don't want to stay on one subject too long.
My bad. I'm telling you, it's my bad. Go ahead. You got the floor, Reverend Doctor.
No.
Go ahead.
Your guy. Who's your guy? Who is your guy?
George Kittle. 6 catches for 128 yards, 1 TD. I'm done.
Lord have mercy.
I'm done.
I'm just disappointed in you, man.
I'm glad y'all awake.
Irv, he didn't think we were going to catch it, Irv.
Yeah, he just went going on and on and on.
Hey, you gave me the mic, Mike on the mic. You gave it to me, so I took it.
Paul Holmes is in the house. Howard Taylor, Pastor Taylor, Eddie Casper is in the house. Shout out to you guys as we continue to move on. Fred, who is your wide receiver of the week?
All right, let me pull out my long list now. My wide receiver of the week, man. This guy, it's a guy that we talked about actually before the season started, and once the season started, we were still high on him, and I think it's unfortunate that they're going through a very rough time in the season, which is unfortunate for them, but it's fine for the NFC East. CeeDee Lamb, 13 catches, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. 11 yards a catch. This guy, I mean, this guy's amazing. He had his last 2 years. He had over 100 catches, and he's averaging about 6 catches a game right now, which average out to about 110 catches. This guy, of course, the offense is struggling right now. Dak is struggling right now.
The whole team is struggling.
He still gets his numbers, and I think at one point, man, and I don't know if it was something that just kind of in the air or it's false news or what have you. But at one point, I thought I heard little birdie said that he wanted out of there, but of course he's not going anywhere. But CeeDee Lamb is a good receiver, great target, and the one interesting thing that I watched him do over the years, and which I think inevitably gives him the ability to do what he does, is that he runs precise route, but he and Dak are on the same page. I've seen him run routes that didn't even look like routes. It was just that, hey, if they're in zone, let me find a space and my quarterback and I on the same page. And he did a great job this week. Of course, they lost the game, and but CeeDee Lamb, 13 catches, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's hard to beat.
But I knew somebody was going to mention CD, and hats off to him because he was the leading receiver in the league this week, 2 touchdowns. But the thing about CD that I'm impressed with is that everybody knows he's going to get the ball. He's really the number one target, really the most formidable target that Dak Prescott has. As I was watching the game, you could hear the commentator say, I think it was, I forget who it was, but the commentator said, you got to get the ball to CD on this play. And they sure enough threw the ball to CD. So if the commentator knew about it or who they were going to go to, of course, the defense knew who they were going to go to. They just can't stop it. And there were like 3 plays, 29 yards, 21 yards, 29 yards, 20 yards on 3 consecutive plays in the fourth quarter. And the last one was a TD to make it just a 1-score game. Of course, they were coming back, but they didn't win the game. But I mean, yeah, CD is impressive. As bad as that team is, CD Lamb. My receiver of the week is I just like this guy. I think I really didn't pay attention to him. He's been in the league 6 years now. Terry McLaurin from Washington. He's just doing a great job of making sure that he's where he needs to be and doing what he needs to do to make sure that the quarterback, that rookie quarterback, has the best chance he has to do the best that he can, play the best that he can play. Let me say it that way. And Terry could easily be disgruntled because since he's been with the Washington Commanders, He got there in 2019. They were 3-13, bottom of the NFC East. Then 2020, they were 7-9. That happened to be the top of the NFC East because the NFC East sucked that year. And then 2021, they were 7-10. That was next to last in the NFC East. And then 2022, 8-8-1, bottom of the NFC East. 23, 4-13, terrible. They come out of the team was bad. Then they turned things around this year, and they're 6-2. They won against Chicago. We know about the big Hail Mary and all. It was just a great game. He had five receptions, 8 targets, 125 yards. No touchdown because he had the 61-yard long, and he had a 25-yard average. He caught a long pass of 61 to 25 yards to top his game off.
I thought we said when they had 0 touchdowns, they can't be number one.
No. That's just look. If you can pick a tight end, I can pick a guy that got 0 tight.
You picked a tight end before.
As I said, I picked one tight end one time, and you guys jumped all over me, and I stopped it. That was one time last year. That wasn't even this year. That was last season. That was last season. Last season, you just bringing up old stuff.
Last year,
but he didn't. He didn't have a touchdown. He just didn't, But, caught those passes, got over 100 yards. That was the 3rd time this season. Like I said, he's working, man. I like him. First time since the 5th week. Inconsistent at the beginning of the year because Jalen wasn't doing very well, or Jaden, I should say. But now he's got at least 95 yards and 5 receptions at least in 3 of the last 4 games. So he's
You know what, Irv? You know what I think the biggest difference with Washington this year? They've taken on the mentality of their coach.
Right.
A lot of teams do that, obviously, and this is a defensive-minded coach that's there now, and he's toughing them up. And you see that throughout the game. That they're tough like him, and that's why I like them. I like Detroit. Their coaches are tough. And that's
and you know what? With that toughness that you're talking about, Mike, I would argue with anybody that if you went to Washington, if you went to Detroit when they were in training camp, their training camps were a little bit tougher than most of the teams in the NFL right now, in the league right now. Because
let me ask this. Who's going to win the NFC East?
Who's going to win the NFC East?
I'm picking Washington.
It's going to be between Washington and Philadelphia. Dallas is really bad.
I mentioned this earlier. Washington. I know they playing NFL team, but Washington ain't beat nobody.
They have beat somebody. They beat NFL teams, and the record says that.
They beat the Giants. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Browns. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Bears, and they beat the Bengals.
The Browns just beat Baltimore. I mean, so what's your point? The Browns just beat Baltimore.
They sure did.
The Browns coming off an overhaul.
What difference does it make? A win's a win.
Washington is coming off an overhaul.
Mike, there are emotional wins.
The Commanders are coming off an overhaul.
There are emotional wins. But I'm saying they're winning games. But
this offseason, this past offseason, the Commanders blew up that team and started all over again.
When they face a decent defense and a good offense that's going to challenge that defense, they're going to lose.
I'm gonna mark this right now so I can use this.
Tell
later.
Tell me a game that you're looking forward to them playing that will be a test for them.
Washington.
Fred.
Yeah.
You know what? The Cowboys. Of course, the Eagles.
What? Who just say? Watch. Did you just say the Cowboys?
Okay.
Wow. Okay. All
the
right.
Cowboys are a dumpster
we got
fire.
it on record. We got it on record.
Said
the Cowboys.
I can't even believe you fixed your lips to say the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a dumpster fire, man.
Cowboy. Okay. All right.
Oh, so you a Cowboys fan now?
No, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
You cheering for the Cowboys? You cheering for the Cowboys?
I think you're going to let me answer the question.
Oh, you cheering for the Cowboys? No, you didn't answer my question. You cheering for the Cowboys?
When they are not going to be, the Cowboys are going to be watched.
Listen, I don't care who the Cowboys are playing. I want that team they're playing to win. I don't care who they're playing.
So Fred,
I want the Cowboys to lose every game they play.
Fred, I just pulled up the schedule.
You don't want the Cowboys to lose and Washington win the NFC East, or do you care about that? You don't care.
I don't care. I just want the Cowboys to lose.
So they have Steelers. They have the Steelers in a couple of weeks, and then they have the Eagles. Yeah. Then they have the Cowboys. So yeah, they're going to be tested. I mean, they're going to be tested.
Oh no.
Steelers
Don't back up. Don't back up.
Anybody
I
backing
wanted
up?
to look. I wanted to look at the
Don't
schedule
back up.
to see who they played, and I asked
I-
you who on the list
said-
would test them, and
I
you
said the
said
Cowboys and the
the
Eagles.
Cowboys. So you forgot about
Yeah.
the Steelers are here, the Eagles are here. Okay,
All right, that's enough.
said.
That's enough bantering.
Got it. Okay, we hear you loud and clear, Fred.
Gennaro
Loud
Jackson
and
the second is in the
I
house.
heard-
What's
I
going
heard-
on, bro? Richard
Yes, sir.
Melton is in the house. Richard Melton said, "What's up?" And he said, "Oh yeah." He hit us up again. He said, "Oh yeah, go Bills." Yeah, go Bills. Ed Crawley's in the house. Scott Teller is in the house. Fly Eagles Fly Legacy
Scott.
is in the house. AJ Brown. AJ Brown is the closest thing I have seen to Terrell Owens since I've been watching the NFL. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We can go with that.
Yeah, Scott Teller says we got Washington November 14th, Thursday Night Football. We do. That's going to be a big one for both teams. For both teams.
Oh, yeah.
So let's here's a new topic that we decided to add, or I should say our CEO Michael Timpson decided to add. No.
Will you stop?
No, this is not a new one. We still have the surprise of the
that's
week.
not new.
We haven't gotten to a new topic yet. It'll come after the surprise of the week. So, Fred, you go first. What is your surprise? It's probably the same.
my God.
We probably got some of the same
I
stuff.
think it has to be the same for
It might be.
well, the Browns, man. It has to be the Browns. I really felt that the Ravens throughout this whole game, they didn't realize they were going to lose this game until they lost it.
Well, you're supposed to think that.
No. Even when they were in trouble and it was like questionable, it's like they just had this. They really weren't shuffled about really what was going on. But man, Jameis Winston, man, this guy, I'm quite sure you guys have seen his interviews.
Oh yeah.
It seems as if he's being sarcastic, but he's serious.
That's his personality. I believe that's his personality.
And you just kind of almost like laughing at him, and then all of a sudden, I'm hearing him speak, and I'm just laughing, and then all of a sudden I'm looking, I'm like, oh, he's serious.
Yeah.
He's like taking these deep breaths and like, God, and I'm like, oh, God, this guy's serious. Of course, we know the Browns beat the Ravens 29-24. Winston was 27 for 41, 27 out of 41 for 344 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oh my God! Tillman had 7 catches, 199 yards. Elijah Moore had 885. Chubb didn't do much. He had 52 yards out of 80 yards rushing for the team. Jackson, who was distraught, just took his helmet and threw it off and just, and I can imagine, because I think that, well, you have to think that a team, with that amount of ability and where they are, that they would, at least win the game, even if it was close.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it was close, but with them losing, it was just very disappointing. Jackson had 289 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Flowers had 7 catches. He did pretty good, had 115 yards. And Derrick Henry had only 11 rushes. I think that they probably should have ran Henry a little more. He had 73 yards and a touchdown. But that was a big surprise for me. I mean, even when that game was over, I'm sitting there like, there's no way that I'm saying this. There's no way that the Browns just beat the Ravens. And I think that they were just as shocked as everybody else was.
Mike, you want to comment on that, or you want to give us? Let me just because I'm with Fred, so let me just add to that if I can, Fred. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It was phenomenal, and you said the Ravens really didn't realize that they lost the game until they actually lost the game, and that's probably true, because the play before Jameis threw the last touchdown to go ahead, the Ravens could have won the game because the DB had the ball in his hands, interception, well overthrown. I think it was a miscommunication between Winston and the wide receiver, but The Ravens had the ball in their hands and would have won the game had he caught that interception, but he didn't. So this was the first start, Jameis Winston's first start for the Browns. He had a 115 QB rating. This cat put life back into a team that was comatose. The team was comatose. Scored 20 points in a game for the first time in 2024. It's the first time they've scored 20 points. The only team, and they were the only team going into this week, not to score 20 points in a game. Winston is the first Browns QB with 300-plus passing yards, 3+ TDs, and 0 INTs, interceptions, in a game since Jacoby Brissett in Week 11, 2022 against the Buffalo Bills. And, and what you call them, be happy about this. And the Bills won 31-23. But the Browns offense with Watson, watch what's happening with Watson. I guess they're kind of happy now that Winston is in. But the Browns offense with Watson at the helm they're a zombie. Watson never threw for 300 yards in any of his 19 starts in Cleveland over the last 3 years. He never even reached 200 yards in the 7 starts this year. Winston, he established timing with the team, crispness, pulling the trigger in tight windows when he needed to. He was aggressive. He was confident. Boy, I'm giving commentary right now. He had
same team.
He had good protection. He made some good decisions. He wasn't perfect, but he played well. Near interception by Kyle Hamilton. Was it 2 minutes and 36 seconds? 9 plays, 74-yard drive, ended in a touchdown drive pass for 38 yards to Cedric Tillman with 1:04 left. And they won the game. I was in shock. I was impressed, but at the same time, I'm very happy for Winston, and I'm happy for the Browns because they only had won one game, man. It was because of Watson's play, obviously. So hopefully we'll see what happens with them if he can keep this team on track and at least be competitive over the next few weeks and salvage hopefully their season.
Okay, well, my surprise. You guys have already just beat it up. I'm not going to even, but it happens to be mine as well. So that's a good thing. So here's a couple of things I'll give you, and then I'll dip out the way. I'm happy, like you are, Irv. I'm happy for Winston to get an opportunity. If this is the same Cleveland Browns that had Flacco that came in and was able to do something. So something with the franchise. That's number one. Number two. With the reporter asking before the game, she says, what do you expect from yourself? Here's what he said. He went to Psalms 118. He said, he looked into the camera. He said, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. I'm like, okay, he's ready. And so his whole thing is, he said he had the team, the pregame speech, he says he told them to believe. He has this team believing. So I hope they make a run and he does well. Kudos, hats off to him. I just hope he can keep it up. So
when you look at some of the throws he made, man, that cat was throwing that rock, bro. I didn't know he could throw the ball like that.
No pressure on him. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. But I never really paid attention to his game. I just thought he was kind of a journeyman, a so-so quarterback. But man, he made some serious throws this past weekend.
Now let's not lose sight of this. He'll spray the ball around and start getting a little tight.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to watch.
Oh, yeah.
We got to take it while we got it.
But he threw the ball in some tight windows. He pulled the trigger. He didn't hesitate. He had confidence where he was throwing it. Now, had he gotten intercepted a couple of times, he would have started double clutching and not, being as confident in throwing it in those tight windows. But, man, he was throwing that ball in some tight windows. Yeah. And even that last pass that he threw for a touchdown, it was on the money. It was on the money. I don't know what happened to the one that almost got intercepted. Like I said, it looked like a miscommunication between he and the receiver. But the last one, man, after being scared by that interception, throwing that ball down the field again, almost in the same spot, near the same area.
But you know what?
Boom.
I'll tell you what his teammates said. He said one thing that he brought to the team, to the huddle. He said confidence and energy. Mm-hmm. Now you contrast that to what was in the huddle before. You can imagine Watson had all kind of stuff on his mind.
Well, yeah. Plus, he football, and it wasn't positive energy. He had negative energy coming off of him, man. Yeah, and as they were getting the games, I mean, through the TV, you could feel it. If you were watching it through the TV with Watson playing, you could feel the team just going downhill, getting heavy. Things becoming laborsome for them. So and you see that Watson wasn't playing well. I gave stats in one of the shows several weeks ago. Since he's been there, he's gotten worse. Yeah. Not that he's come close to getting better. Worse. He just has continued to digress, to get worse. So here's our new subject of the week. Let me see who else is on here. Richard Melton. The NFL is now about the next. It is. I mean, a lot of injuries are taking place right now. I've never. Yeah, he said next man up. Is that's what Vince Pace is in the house. What's going on, Vince? Good to see you. Russell Gould. Okay, fly Eagles, fly legacy. Okay, nobody knew yet. Scott Teller. Love me some Jameis Winston. Yeah, everybody loves him right now in Cleveland. He's being loved right now. We'll see what happens next week if he throws a couple of interceptions. See if we still love him. I pray that he doesn't, and he continues to ride the scriptures. Is Cooper DeJean a stud? Really? Cooper DeJean already? Who asked that question?
He asked, Eddie Casper asked, "Is Cooper DeJean? Is he a stud?"
He made a good play.
Listen, Cooper, he's a rookie, Mike. What's impressive about him is ever since he's been in, he has made one or two big plays in every game that he started. He got hurt in training camp. I believe it either was a hamstring or groin. I don't remember, but it was a leg injury. And he didn't start playing probably until 3 games, maybe 4 into the season. I think it was 3 games into the season. I'm not sure. But he's a rookie. And, man, he made a play on Jamar Chase. Yeah. It was 4th and 1. And Jamar Chase was lined up on the right side, lined up on the left side, went in motion to the quarterback, and then went back to where he was lined up, and then ran back across the formation again. And Cooper had to navigate his way through the linebackers and all, and he got to Jamar Chase and for a loss of a yard. Yeah. 4th and 1, and didn't get 1 yard, and ran through him. I mean, a serious old-fashioned
serious blow
tackle. the kind we used to do when we hit those sleds. Yeah, he was. He's been, and he's also the punt returner now. Because Britton Covey is down; he's injured. So Cooper's been carrying the load with the punt returns, and he's been doing a really good job with that. Doing a really good job. So yes, would I say he's a stud? At this point I would say, because again, he's a rookie, and he and Quinyon Mitchell, both as rookies, are holding it down over there, man. They're holding it down on that side of the ball. They're the ones that are creating the spark. They're the ones that are doing exciting things and playing with consistency. So our next new topic is news of the day, news of the week, top news. Whatever stands out, whatever jumps out to you. So, Fred, no, you went first last time. Mike, you go first so we don't have to jump all over yours just in case we have some of the same stuff. That way you're not last saying the same thing we were saying. Okay, because we didn't share what I think we need to share from now on. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. You're going to talk about that, just in case we start stepping on one another's toes. But go ahead, Mike.
So here it is. The news of the week for me is the JETS.
Lord Jesus.
Okay, we talked about this, and we tried to tell the American public that Devontae Adams was not the answer. We tried to tell everybody. Nobody wanted to listen.
He only been there a week.
Whatever, but they thought he was the savior. The quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, had Woody Johnson go and sell, all his stock and everything, and just put all his chips in the middle of the table. And the reality of it is, it's him. It's him. We tried to tell everybody that it's him. And now I see him talking. He's talking today. He was like, well, for a player or two, we could be, 5-3 or 6-2. I'm saying, like, dude, just don't even talk. Just say we are not playing well and we need to play better. End of the discussion. I know he has to go talk because he's a quarterback, but he can give some real short answers and just say, you know what, we need to play better. So all this stuff that he's talking about, and you got the guy that was being held out, you got him back. And I just believe he had that conversation with the owner, and the owner said, whatever you want, we'll give it to you. You don't want that coach anymore? He's out. Now what?
Now what?
Now,
Now what?
I'll end with this. Now he's drinking some elixir because he's hurting all over, and now he's talking about the injuries. Mark my word, Rich, I tell American public again, he's going to pull out. He's going to pull out. He's going to say, you know what? I had enough, and he's going to be hurt.
He needs some Toradol. He needs some Toradol. Get a shot of Toradol, be all right. All that hurt go away. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Get some Toradol. All that hurt go away. Y'all done had that Toradol.
He start winning, it'll go away real quick. But right now, don't look like it. But anyway,
and like you said, Mike, it is that side of the ball because their defense, the Jets' defense, in terms of stopping the run, in terms of pass protection, they're okay. They're not. They're
okay, but they're not as good because remember, everybody was hanging their hats on their defense, and they said they just needed to get the offense together. Since the coach became the coach, the defensive coordinator now is the head coach, that defense is not as good as it has been in the past.
Right. But again,
observation.
One affects the other. When the offense is struggling, they're going off the field, 3 and out. That hampers your defense. You can only be so good defensively. And then if you're always playing from behind as a defense, that affects you as well. So like you said, they started off well. The defense started off like a bat out of hell, but as the season is going on and the offense has been exposed and Aaron Rodgers has played continually worse and looking at everybody else like it's their fault, things just continue to escalate in terms of going downhill. Escalate going downhill. Is that an oxymoron?
Running out of
escalate going downhill.
Running out of scapegoats.
Yeah,
running out of
it's a mess. It's a mess. The Jets are a mess. Fred?
Just a mess.
Yeah, Jets, mess.
Mess. I think this is kind of it's of course in the news, but it's bad news for C.J. Stroud, for Stephon Diggs to be out with an ACL, man. And it's almost like kind of like Baker Mayfield, having both of his guys out, and at this point that the offense is probably going to struggle. We'll see. We're not sure yet. But we don't. I'm not sure when Nico Collins is scheduled to get back in on the field. But Stephon Diggs through 8 games had 47 receptions, and that he led the team actually with 47 receptions. Had 96 yards, 3 touchdowns, which wasn't a whole lot of touchdowns. But of course, he was filling that void with Collins out, and I think now, of course, it has to be the next man up, and I think. It kind of helps the fans see how big of a drop-off sometimes when your first guy is out, where the offense can go. And sometimes, of course, that when you got that second, third guy up and that guy is good enough and to make a name for himself, it gets better. But I'm not sure, if it's going to get any better offensively for C.J. Stroud. We're talking about 6-2. They're 6-2. And here's a team that I think all three of us talked about going pretty deep in the playoffs. They lost against, if I'm not mistaken, the Ravens last year in Baltimore in the playoffs. And I think we were excited. Of course, I was excited about C.J. Stroud this year. And when Collins went down, of course, his numbers went down a little bit. But of course, he has Stephon Diggs, but now he doesn't have Diggs, and Diggs is out for the season. So. That's a big blow for the offense, but we'll see exactly what they can do and who's the next man up.
Next man up. That's what the league is right now, according to our watchers, according to our viewers. Next man up. Vinny Capriati's in the house. Shout out to you, Vinny. Here's my top news. A couple weeks ago, well, it's been a changing or shifting or exchanging of wide receivers. Devontae Adams, right, to the Jets. Last week we had Amari Cooper goes to the Bills. Then we had DeAndre Hopkins goes to the Chiefs. And then this week, Deontay Johnson was traded to the Ravens. What in the world were the Panthers thinking about?
They're not using him. There's nothing going on with the Panthers.
But I know there's nothing going on with the Panthers, but he's Bryce Young's number one target. He's the leading receiver on the team, and they trade him to the Ravens. The Ravens
trying
just
to get the number one pick.
Well, they trying to get they didn't trade him. They traded him for a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder in 2025.
No, the number one pick in the draft next year when they
listen. The Baltimore Ravens offense is already shredding defenses, y'all. They're already scary. Yeah, they lost to the Browns. You know, they're not going to. I don't think any team is going to win every game. I don't think any team is ever. They probably, you know, you heard of teams playing down to the competition. They went into that game thinking we ain't going to have no problem with the Browns. Jameis Winston's playing. You know, he's coming in and Watson's out. Yeah, we ain't got no problem with them. They didn't even prepare for that game. They went into that game with the wrong mindset and they lost. And guess what? It was embarrassing. So guess what's going to happen this week? They're going to come out like some wild boars, and whoever they're playing is in trouble. This is Johnson's 3rd team this year. He was with Pittsburgh, then he went to the Panthers. Now he's with the Ravens. Man, the Ravens got Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Rashad Bateman is the guy on the bench, and now Deontay Johnson.
You mentioned 3 teams. Is that some indication of him?
I don't think it's an indication of him because when you look, I don't maybe if you're talking about locker room and his cohesiveness,
they shipping him out.
It was a trade. Like you said, the Panthers aren't going anywhere, and he was being productive. He was being productive with the Panthers.
Why did Pittsburgh get rid of it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know why. It happened during the offseason. Happened during the offseason. I don't know. I haven't heard any scuttlebutt. I haven't seen anything. You know, nothing's been written about him or spoken about him being a problem in terms of his character, in terms of a teammate, or in the locker room. Couldn't have been, fussing about how many passes he catch because he was catching more balls than anybody else on the Panthers. But he's a starting wide receiver. They got another weapon. Why would you trade? That just doesn't make sense to me. Another weapon, another starting weapon that Lamar Jackson has to throw the ball to. So that team, again, coming off that embarrassing loss, I don't know who they play this week, but watch what happens. They play Denver. I'm going to say this right now, and you can mark it, put it down. This is not one of my picks necessarily.
At home. They play Denver at home.
Exactly. The Ravens are going to score 40 points this week.
Let me write that down.
They're gonna put up 40.
Okay.
40 points. Now let me say this. I need to shout this out. Nobody mentioned this. I want to mention this. This is just more news. This is not top news. It is top news, but it's more top news. 49ers cornerback Javarius Ward's 1-year-old daughter passed away this past Monday morning. Her name was Amani Joy. She was born prematurely with Down syndrome and had open heart surgery in April 2023. His wife's name is Monique. 49ers, fortunately, have a bye week this week. Ward is 29 years old. He started all 41 games since signing with the 49ers in 2022. Second team All-Pro last year, 2023. And he only missed 4 snaps in the game against Dallas. He's a baller. Yeah. So prayers go out to him from WOW, to him and his family. I can't even imagine, man. And I brought this up because I just want to remind people, those of you who are watching or who will watch this, that though these athletes are making a lot of money and they're in the spotlight and, things look like on the outside that the sun's always shining and they're always going in the right direction, life happens to professional athletes as well. We go through things just like everybody else. So pray for him, pray for his family, because I can't even imagine. I had a similar incident, similar situation when my 3rd child was born. She didn't die, but it was touch and go there for a minute. And I can't even imagine losing one of my children.
I can't. I can't.
So that was my more news.
Okay.
All right. Game of the week. We chose the game of the week. This week, the game of the week is the Lions at Green Bay. That's our pick for the game of the week. Fred, you want to start out giving us your commentary about the game of the week and who? This is one of our picks too, Mike. Is this going to be one of our picks? The game of the week? No.
No.
Okay. No. So the game of the week is not one of our picks. So you don't have to pick, Fred, but give us some insight on the Lions at Green Bay.
So we're talking about. I'm not going to touch as much as you guys touch on it, but we're talking about the 6-1 Lions against the 6-2 Packers. Now, from what I think I know, Love is probably not going to play in the game. So we have Malik Neighbors. I'm sorry, Malik Neighbors. I don't know where my head is. Malik Willis.
Willis, yeah.
Malik Willis. See, this is White House world.
What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
We got Malik Willis. Love not in the game. Malik Willis has thrown for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. I just don't feel that he has what it takes with that Lions defense. Green Bay, their top running back is Jacobs with 667 yards, 3 touchdowns. Their top receiver is Reeds and Dobbs. 507 yards, 384 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. It's just the Lions are just probably one of the hardest teams to beat right now. We know that Irving loves the Lions quarterback. He loves the way he looks in his uniform. He doesn't
even look like a football
Golf
player.
Golf doesn't have actually but 13 touchdowns.
But he's only got 4 interceptions. He only has 4 interceptions. Yeah.
Right.
Gibbs,
you got to get the touchdown interception ratio, bro. That's important.
Yeah, I was letting you do that. I know you're gonna do that. Gibbs, their top rusher, 591 yards, almost 600 yards. St. Brown, who I would say would probably probably the top 5 receiver if we had to pick 5, or at least probably top 4 right now. He has 408 yards. Williams with 361, respectively, 5 touchdowns and 3 touchdowns. I think this is going to be a very exciting game. Well, let me back up. I think this would have been a very exciting game if Love would have stayed healthy. And of course, Love went down against the Jaguars. And I think we probably wouldn't have picked this game if we didn't think Love was going to be in the game. But I think the 6-1 Lions will beat the 6-2 Packers. I know we're not picking this game, but the Packers, I think, will be 6-3 after this game.
Mike,
this will be a great game. In
Mike,
spite of that, this yes.
You still think
What?
Okay.
What?
I just asked.
Okay. This will be a great game. I like everything that you said about the Lions. I specifically like their 2-headed monsters. Those backs, I mean, they're about even with carries, yards. They utilize those backs the way when you have 2 backs of that quality, they utilize them. So I like them. I like their young tight end Laporte, and Goff is playing well enough. Like you said, he's 74% of his passes he's completing. So I expect the Lions to do very well in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. So it's not going to be a cakewalk, but it'll be a good game to watch. And I hope Love does not try and play. That groin is nothing to mess around with.
It's nothing to play with.
So I hope he does not play just for the longevity of the season.
And like you said, Mike, that I was thinking the same thing when I was looking at this earlier today. I'm like, okay, he's got a groin injury. Even if he does play, that move, backpedaling, but he's got to get out of the pocket sideways. That's worse on the groin than running straight. So the fact that Love is not playing in this game makes a significant difference in the favor of the Detroit Lions. Let me give you one stat with the Lions. Last week, the Lions put up 52 points, and Goff didn't even throw for 100 yards. They put up 52 points, and Goff didn't throw for 100 yards. The whole team is playing well. Defense is playing well against the pass, against the run. They're throwing the ball. Goff is throwing the ball. Didn't have to throw it last week because they're running the ball. Every facet of the game for the Detroit Lions right now. And like you said, Mike, the head coach, their coaching has got them going. This team is determined to get the monkey off their back. That's been there for a long time. They started getting the monkey off their back a couple of years ago. They started winning games, and people really didn't believe this is the Lions. And they've been doing that now for the last few seasons. And I really think, they're determined. They're focused. You don't see them having the up and down games that some of the other teams that we see as being some of the better teams in the league. You don't see the up and down with them. There's a consistency that they have, and that just means they're focused, they're well coached, and they're locked in to the goal. And that goal is to get into the playoffs, and not just get into the playoffs, but win playoff games and get to the Super Bowl. So even with Love playing, I think the Lions would win this game. It would be tighter. It'd be harder. It'd be a little more difficult. But this team, as Fred says, Washington hasn't played anybody. The Lions have. The Lions have. They've beaten some good teams.
Yes,
So the Lions are going to win this game. The Green Bay is going to be 6-3 after this, and the Lions are going to be 7-1.
Can you imagine Barry Sanders playing for this coach and this offense? Can you imagine that?
No, that wouldn't be fair.
Wow.
It wouldn't be fair. Did I ever tell you
just one of those receivers.
Did I ever tell you this story about Barry Sanders in the Pro Bowl?
No, Irv, you have not told us. So do share.
Do share. It really is a story about Ricky Waters. I was playing with the Eagles at the time, and Ricky Waters and I, we were starters in the Pro Bowl. So we had played our time in the first quarter. We came out, we were on the sidelines, and Ricky's walking back and forth, and you know how Ricky could get. He's mouthing off, he's mad, just going back and forth, just hollering and screaming. I'm like, what is, just pouting and stomping his feet? I'm like, Ricky, what is wrong with you? Come on, man, what's going on? He said, and now Barry Sanders is in the game behind Ricky. Barry's out there running the ball. And Ricky's like, they blocking better for Barry than they were blocking for me. I looked at Ricky, I said, Ricky, first of all, we're in Hawaii, we're in the Pro Bowl. What's wrong with you? Relax, dude. Relax. We're supposed to be having a good time. I said, second of all, that's Barry Sanders. Barry don't need no blocking. He don't need no blocking. They're blocking the same for him. Barry just make it happen, man. Ricky was upset, bro. I couldn't believe it. He's comparing himself to Ricky, to Barry Sanders. No, Ricky was a great running back, but he sure enough wasn't no Barry Sanders. Only one Barry Sanders, baby. One Barry Sanders.
Sir.
So we let's make our predictions. We right on time. All right. Right on time.
Yes,
Thursday
sir.
night football, Sunday night football, and Monday night football. Mike, I'm just gonna give mine real. I'm gonna give mine. Or you want to give us our?
No, I just want to give you your records first.
Yeah, give us our records first. Give us our records first.
We all batting about 500.
We're all batting about 500.
Last week I was 1-2. Irv, you and Fred were 2-1. We all picked. We all picked Minnesota. So we got that one. The Giants in Pittsburgh. We all three of us picked Pittsburgh, and San Francisco and Dallas. I went out on a limb.
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with you.
We're out on a limb.
I
took a shot.
Yeah,
I took a shot because remember I told you Purdy had not been playing well.
And what did I say when you took a shot? I said that's our chance to catch up, Fred.
Well, yeah, you did. So Irv, you and I are 15-12. You and I both are 15-12. Fred's still in the lead at 16-11.
It's just one. So, he just won. We can touch him. We can still touch you, Fred. You ain't ran away from us yet. We just buying time till we get to the last straightaway.
The last straightaway.
We buying time till we get that.
Get on my back.
Yeah, slingshot off that last turn. Come on around that last straightaway.
All right, you want me to go ahead and finish?
Yeah, you go ahead and finish. So Thursday night, go ahead and call him, Mike. Go ahead.
Houston at the Jets. Jets top 5 defense, but they're not playing like it. But they're statistically there's top 5 defense. And Houston, I just too much. No diggity, no problem. You see how I did that? No diggity, no digs.
No we know what you were saying. The people don't know what you were saying. We know what you're saying.
Making sure y'all was
you hip hop. Let me give you this.
I thought you said no Diddy.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! Let me get that to you
No,
again.
we're not going that
That's a foul. Give me a flag. I need a flag. What's a
We're
yellow
not going
flag?
that
Yellow
way.
flag. Yellow flag.
Okay. Sunday night, Colts at Minnesota. You know, I was torn with this one. I was about to go with Flacco, but I just don't think he can muster up enough to beat Minnesota at home. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota. But I like Flacco. Flacco just comes to play, man, and he just they got him off the couch a year or so ago, and he just plays. He's like,
You know
what do
what?
I have to lose?
You know why Flacco's playing? Because Richardson's too tired. He too tired.
Yeah, he's tapping his head to my.
He too tired.
Anyway, that's for another story. Okay, Monday night, Tampa at Kansas City. They got to go to Kansas City. Now, here's one thing: Kansas City's undefeated. Could they be undefeated for the year? Just a thought, because they're not playing well. All the pieces are not in place, but this team right now is undefeated. Just keep your eye on them. Don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. I'm going with Kansas City.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna win this game. They ain't gonna lose this game.
Okay, right.
Fred.
All right, Houston. Like Mike said, I think the Jets are not exactly where they want to be. I think there's at some point it's going to be so much turmoil with the Jets, it's going to be ridiculous. The Jets has landed. They're not airborne anymore. Even with Diggs up, Houston's going to take it. Minnesota. It's interesting to see Flacco back in the game again. It's interesting to see Richardson be on the sideline, and there's nothing wrong with him, and this was a guy they took in the first
He's tired,
round.
boss. He tired, boss.
Flacco, I don't think he'll be able to do it.
He tired, boss.
I don't think he'll be able to do it. Mike, I promise you, I looked at Kansas City's schedule, and I was like, these cats are playing raggedy, and they still winning.
Still winning.
And still win. Man, I would not be surprised
if they put it together.
I would not be surprised. Now, unfortunately, this weekend, or unfortunately this Monday, that we got two major parts of Tampa Bay's offense that's out. Of course, that's their wide receivers.
Yep.
And Baker Mayfield at this point is going to have a hard time, I think, putting points on the board. But if those guys were there, if Evans was there and if Godwin was there, I would have to give a little more thought to, them possibly maybe winning this game by the way Kansas City is playing and how agile Baker Mayfield is in getting out of the pocket and running the ball when he has to. But Kansas City, they're going to win this game.
Okay.
All right. I think we're all going to do the same thing. I don't think there's going to be any changes.
Houston, Minnie, and KC.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to. Houston. Yeah, I think Stroud will pull enough together without Diggs. Do enough.
You sound like you was hesitating. Were you hesitating?
No.
Okay.
He's going to have to rely on Mixon a little bit more. Now, Mixon, who is the running back, he's had over 100 yards the last 3 games in a row. So he's just going to have to rely on Mixon a little bit more. But I believe, and they're at the Jets. I ought to go with the Jets, but I'm not going to. They're in New York. I'm going with you know what? Forget you. I'm going with the Jets. I'm going.
No, you're not. Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm going with the Jets.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
My chest is poked out. I'm going with the Jets. Just because I can. Just because I can.
Yes, sir.
We have the freedom. We have the freedom of choice. Just because I can, I'm going with the Jets. Now,
Hercules.
I'm going with the Vikings. Yeah, Flacco, but I don't think he can come in and do that. The Vikings are hot. They're at home. I don't see the Colts beating them. Sam Arnold, he's 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's managing the games the way he should be managing. And the Vikings defense is the strength, actually, of the Vikings team. even though Matthew Stafford threw four touchdowns last week, up until that game, they were just, they were great.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Vikings. And then I'm going to stay with the Chiefs like everybody else. Baker Mayfield doesn't have his two favorite targets, Evans and Godwin. But Baker Mayfield also will turn the ball over. And I think that's going to happen even more this week because, even with his targets and winning games and doing well, 2 weeks ago, he threw the ball 3 interceptions in one game. They won the game, but he's 3 interceptions. He's got 9 interceptions just like Patrick Mahomes. He got 21 touchdowns, but he's got 9 interceptions like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I don't know what he's doing, but listen, Chiefs offense is second on third down. Bucks defense is 28th in points, giving up points per game. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Okay. All right.
Going with the Chiefs.
Let it be done.
Come on, Jets. Jets. Jets.
Derek, you have it.
I'm either going to fall way behind or I'm going to be in the lead. Dog, snap it.
This is true.
Got to take a chance.
All right,
Go
man,
hard.
You on good time. You on good time. We do some shout outs and some questions. You doing
go
good there,
Captain.
Captain.
Vince Pace said a lot of tip balls for the interceptions for Mahomes. So Mahomes has a lot. I haven't seen, a lot of his interceptions. Okay. I know he has 9. And you know what? That's a stat that really is not in, doesn't really tell the whole story. Yes, statistics are facts. But when you talk about, where'd Fred go? When you talk
how
about
they happen.
How they happen. If a ball is thrown right in the receiver's hands and he juggles it and tips it up in the air and then it's intercepted, that shouldn't go against the quarterback. That shouldn't be counted against the quarterback as an interception, but it is. So, interceptions or stats are facts, but they don't tell the whole story, like you said, Mike. So, listen, if you're watching right now and you have a question for us, any one of us, here comes Fred back. I don't know why you jump off and jump on. Did you have to go to the bathroom? All you had to do is say you had to go to the bathroom.
I got kicked out.
That's your internet. Look, he's frozen again.
Somebody kicked me out.
That's your internet. Work on your internet. Anyway, if you have a question for us, if you're watching right now, see Vince Pace, Richard Melton, Eddie Casper, Gennaro Jackson. Let me see who else. Scott Teller still in the house. Fly Eagles Fly Legacy is still in the house. Vincent Capriati is in the house. Scott Teller, I said. Yep. Eddie Casper. Richard Gold is in the house. Ed Crawley. Shout out to you, my brother. Paul Holtz. Shout out to you. Howard Taylor, Pastor Taylor, Eddie Casper. My mama's in there. Stuart Winrow, Dawn Winrow. The Bunker is in the house. If you have a question.
That's the Eagles fan club. That's the Eagles fan club, they say. Okay. It's the Eagles fan club.
It is the Eagles fan club. Yeah, it's an Eagles fan club.
Okay. Cool.
The Bunker is an Eagles fan club on YouTube. Okay. Billy Bell and Eddie Casper. Got you.
Cool.
We're going to have to subscribe to you on YouTube.
He said you called Richard. Russell Gould said you called him Richard again.
Oh, I did? I'm sorry.
Charge it to his head, not his heart, Russ.
I keep my screen. Here's a little trick that I do, just so you know, Russell, and I'm sorry. I apologize. Charge it to my head, like Mike said, not my heart, but actually charge it to my eyes. I keep my screen that is in front of me that has the comments on it, I keep it turned all the way down real low. Why? Because there's a trick that I've learned. Even my computer screens are real low, down to like 5%. That way it keeps you from seeing my screens in my glasses.
That's too much information. Can we get to some questions?
That's too much information. I'm trying to give them time to ask questions. Question. Richard Melton is asking a question. Not Russell Melton, but Richard Melton. Richard Melton said, I early voted. Did you guys vote?
Yes. Done. Yes, sir.
Did you vote yet, Fred? Does that mean yes?
He froze?
Yes, sir.
His sound is okay. I didn't vote yet, Richard, but I always wait until the day of voting. I wait until that day. So I like to go to the booth, wait in line, get in the booth and hit the buttons and come on out. So I'm going to vote on Election Day.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Exercise your vote.
Exercise
Your
your
vote
vote.
is your voice.
Scott Teller has a question.
Vote your voice.
Let me throw it up here. Do the Eagles need to make a move at the trade deadline? Third receiver, edge rusher? I mean, any move
Who's
that they
out there?
Yeah, any
You're
move
not
that
liking
they
the third receiver you got? You're not liking the guy from Penn State,
Dotson,
my guy?
Jahan Dotson.
They're
They're really not using him though.
Well, he's not doing
really.
he's not doing anything but being a decoy. I think they may have targeted him in the 7 games they played so far. They may have targeted him 4 times, maybe
4 or 5 times,
and he may have 1 catch so far. You see him in the game, and he's motioning, being a decoy, but they're not using him.
Ain't nobody following him. He's not a decoy. They're not following him.
Exactly. Well, what they're doing is they use him as a decoy because that helps to determine whether it's man or zone. You know, if a guy that's what you use motion for. If a guy moves with him,
that.
you know, it's man. If everybody just kind of shifts, it's zone. So, but they don't throw him the ball at all. I don't know if he's taking a while to pick up the offense, but he's in the game and he's playing. He's in the game and he's playing.
It'll be interesting if he somewhat made an impact in a game or two, and at that point, you know,
I think he will.
Balance.
Yeah, I think he will at some point.
And who knows? They may have something for him down the road.
Right.
I don't know.
Florence Oakman says, "Hey, fellows, love you much. Much love."
Hello.
She's all the way out in the state of Washington, y'all, on the other side of the country. Yeah.
The West Coast.
You got another one there, Irv.
Gennaro Jackson, what's your take on Caleb Williams thus far, guys? What's your take on Caleb Williams thus far? Y'all don't have a comment, huh?
No,
I don't think
the jury's still out.
Mike.
That's why I'm hesitating, because the jury's still out. He's on a bad team, so it's hard to say how good he actually is. I mean, you know, he's doing the best he can, and he's making some plays, but how good he is,
you know what?
I don't know yet. Comparing him to the guy at Washington, that's my comparison.
Right.
And right now, the other guy at Washington is head over heels.
Well, it's almost a similar situation for him, like Justin Fields.
Right.
He can't excel.
Yeah.
He won't get better because coaching is less than par, and then who they have around him doesn't help him. Like what's going on in Washington, like you said, like I told you, my receiver is McLaurin. McLaurin is balling. He's helping Jaden play well. He's making himself available, making sure, you know, he's doing what he needs to do at a high level to make it as easy for Jaden as possible. So,
but see, go ahead, Fred.
I think he's going to be okay. I think he's playing at a rookie level, and I say that because I don't know if you guys realized it, but a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even about 3 weeks ago, DJ Moore was hot. And there were a couple of games where he was hot because Williams really wasn't getting him the ball, really wasn't throwing a good ball. And there were times when he was open and he wasn't getting him the ball. He was overshooting him. He was undershooting. He was, throwing the ball lower, what have you. And who knows, it does sometimes take a few games, for a kid to be, especially at that position, to kind of get the kinks out and really get going. And sometimes it would have taken a win like this against Washington. Of course, they lost it, but that was the type of game. If they'd have won that game, things just kind of start to kind of build and scale, so to speak.
Build a little momentum.
But now, as successful as they thought they were, they walked out of there with an L. And now it's just kind of it's still still a great cloud over everybody there in Chicago.
Because nothing changed.
Nothing changed. I think that over time he probably will get a little better, but I think he's not living up to the hype that everybody thought right now.
They got.
Well, we talked about it earlier too. I always go back to the coaches. I look at the coaches first, because you think about that game that they just lost. You had the guy that was on defense that was supposed to be over where the tip ball was, and he over there messing around in the stands. See, that to me, when I see stuff like that, what's happening at practice? What's happening during the week?
Right.
And I put that right on the head coach, man, and that kind of, obviously infiltrates the team. So Eberflus, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not a big fan of his, and I think Caleb right now is a product of that environment.
Right.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Eddie Casper said, "Nice Revex shirt, Fred."
Yeah.
All right. Revex.
Revex.
Okay.
Revex. Okay, it's pronounced Revex.
That's Frank's.
Richard Melton said,
because it's baseball. So the Yankees, they're making a comeback.
They ain't making
Boy,
a comeback.
we was gonna get swept. But I know before we go, I'm going with the Yankees. I'm thinking they're gonna make a comeback. I just want to get to a game 7. That's why I like the World Series. Give me a game 7. Mike. That's when all the chips on the table. I know it's tough, but hey, did you guys see the guy that went and took the 2 guys that was in the stand?
Mookie took the ball.
I've never, only in New York. That's why I love.
That's right.
New York.
You see the look on his face?
Man,
yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, the other guy held his wrist, the other guy dug it out. I thought, you got to be kidding me.
He pulled the ball
only
out of
New
his
York.
glove.
Yeah.
Look, hey guys, my mom my mom said, "Why is Richard asking a question about baseball?" Richard, your auntie said, "Why are you asking a question about baseball?" Boy,
because the World Series is on right now. So
I don't know either, auntie. He said, "I don't know either, auntie."
Because the series is on right now, and we got to go. The game is coming on.
Yeah, she said, "Okay, Richard." Ben Straight in the house. Mama is in the house. Richard Melton, shout out to you. Gennaro Jackson, shout out to you. Fly Eagles, Fly Legacy. I said Ben Straight. Eddie Casper, Scott Teller.
Now, Ben, I didn't forget about you, Ben. I think I know where you are. You're by BJ's. I'm coming over there to Las Espadas. I'm coming. Florence
Oakman, BJ's. Vince Pace, what's going on, my brother? Russell Gould, what's going on? I said it right.
Got it right.
I got it right. Eddie Casper. Who else? I'm going through the names. Let me get through. Go. Scott Teller. Vincent Capriati.
Got him.
I said it. Eddie Casper. Yep. Fly Eagles. Fly.
Got him.
You good.
Got him.
All right. Did I get it? Ed Crawley is in the house.
Got him.
Paul Holtz is in the house.
Got him.
Howard Taylor, Pastor Taylor is in the house. Ed Casper, my mama, Stu Winrow, Dawn Winrow, and The Bunker.
All right.
That's it for us, y'all. Good show, fellas. Good show.
Right. Yes,
Listen, we thank all of you for stopping by tonight. We thank all of you for hanging in there with us. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on Wide Out's World on YouTube. Please, there are some of you who are watching right now who are either on my Facebook page watching or you're on Fred's Facebook page watching. We beg you, we don't beg you, but we ask you and urge you to go to YouTube, search for Wide Out's World, and subscribe. And then share us and tell your friends about us. We have great conversation, great insight from those who have been on the field. I'm Irving Fryar. These are my co-hosts, Fred Barnett over there. Fred Barnett and Michael Timpson over there. We're Wide Out's World.
Wish you love, peace, and...
No, he didn't. We out of here, y'all. See you next week.
This has been Wide Out's World. Touchdown. Not 1, not 2, but 3 NFL legends. Fred Barnett, Irving Fryar, and Michael Timpson. Are you freaking kidding me? If it's football talk you're looking for, I think we've got you covered. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on YouTube at Wide Out's World. See you next time.
Let's go! Let's go! 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 Go!